Welcome to another edition of the Rapid Reaction. I'm Jarrett Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, man, another tough loss here for the Red Raiders. I mean, it sounds like a broken record, but Texas Tech is close. Late turnover cost them another loss, you know, bottom line. I don't know. What's your overall takeaway? I don't want us to sound like a broken record, say the same thing every week, but I mean, it's the same thing. Like, they're close but not good enough, right?
Yeah, we're getting the same script every week.
It really is, yeah. It is.
You know, I mean, it comes down to Tech is in these games in the fourth quarter, you know, got every chance to win it. And it comes down to which team makes fewer mistakes. Kansas State played a clean fourth quarter. Yep. Tech had a terrible pass interference penalty in the fourth quarter, and they had several of those all night. It was a recurring problem, of course. And then, of course, the interception in the end zone after the incredible fake punt that you pulled off. And that's it, you know.
But even then, though, Joe, even then after that, where it looked like it was over, they fought back. They got a stop. They got a touchdown. They kicked it deep. Now, this has been the big point of contention, which I guess we'll talk about. And because you and I even disagreed on this, and you turned out to be right. But bottom line is Tech got to within 3 points. What, just under 3 minutes left to go? Is that right?
3:58 to play.
Oh, just under 4 minutes left to play. 3 timeouts, and they had a penalty, too, on Kansas State. So, I mean, you're at the 50, so you can onside kick it, all right? I mean, and at least it's still be in their side, on their side of the field. I said with 3 timeouts, hey, man, you kick it away, play, you know, try and get a stop. And you said, well, I'm not sure the defense can stop them, you know, and turned out you were right. Coach Wells saw it like I saw it, and they ended up losing because they couldn't get off the field. They had that. Honestly, they should have. They had Kansas State right where they wanted them. It's 3rd and long with 3rd and 10, I think. 3rd and 11, and here deep in Kansas State's territory, and Tech had held on to their timeouts too. So they're gonna have their timeouts. There's gonna be 2 minutes left. Get the ball back in pretty good field position. You're thinking they send an all-out blitz, which I know just. I mean, you wanted to gouge your own eyes out when you saw that, because they had no one spying Skylar Thompson, one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the Big 12. And we saw that like with Arizona too, with Khalil Tate, where it was a similar type situation, but in the 3rd quarter where you let him get out, and that precipitated basically Arizona winning those 2 dominant drives they had. So it's like you think maybe this team would have learned. The defensive coordinator may have had someone spying Skylar, and maybe he did. We haven't gotten a chance to talk to Patterson, but it sure didn't appear that way, Joe. So I don't know. After all of that, go into the decision to kick off deep, and then of course the defense not being able to get the stop.
Yeah, I mean, my whole deal, I mean, certainly I understand why Coach Wells decided to do what he did. I mean, that's basically you're playing the odds there. I think the vast majority of coaches would do what he did, and the idea is, I think that, well, you have to trust your defense. My way of looking at it is the defense basically hadn't stopped him in the second half. The secondary was getting torched. And I just had no confidence that they were going to be able to get that stop. And so, you know, chances are if you try that onside kick, you're probably not going to recover it. But, hey, no, at least you have a shot at it, right? And so, but either way, that's water under the bridge. That's the way it went. And Tech just didn't get it done in the fourth quarter again. I mean, the defense seems like all year long when they're in a situation where
they have to get a
stop. And they don't. They just, you can't count on them to do it, you know. Where you want to put the blame on that, I guess there's plenty to go around.
Sure.
But bottom line is just not getting it done. Season's basically over. And, you know, I don't know.
And that was probably the one play out of all the plays of the game where I just wanted to bang my head on the counter there in the press box. You know, I even looked over at the Kansas State media. I looked at you, you know, ooh, yeah. I looked over at the Kansas State media, some guys I know, and was just like, and they were like, well, why wouldn't you spy? They were saying, why wouldn't you spy Skylar when our backs are against the wall? They said when Kansas State has their backs against the wall, they always go to him to run. And it was obvious that he was looking for it. They were looking for it. You blitz, you had like 3 guys going the same gap, and he squirts out, and he gets it easily. It was just so, like, if we all saw it coming and we're just media folk, you know, then how can they not see it? Whether it be the players or the coaches or both. I mean, why not have Jordan Brooks, one of the best athletes in the entire conference, spy one of the other best athletes in the conference? You know what I mean? Give mano a mano. I like those odds. Jordan versus Skylar, I think you have a better shot than just blitzing 3 guys in the A-gap, in one of the A-gaps. So that was really frustrating for me. I even asked Matt Wells about it. and why does this keep happening? Why do you basically, why do you keep struggling to get off the field in these type of situations? And he even said, that's a good question. There've been different things at different times, but he did at least acknowledge that, they should have had someone spying him, and to me, in that moment, to not, at least the way it looks, because that's not what happened. They may have called it, but that's not what happened. They didn't have anybody spying him. They just blitzed everybody and hoped they got to him. To me, that is the biggest mistake, the biggest head scratcher of the whole night, Joe.
Yeah, and on that down, it was 3rd and 11, I was quite sure that whatever Kansas State did on offense, they were going to run the football, because they were going to force Texas Tech to take that timeout.
Absolutely.
And Tech played it as a pass. I mean, they were blitzing. It wasn't any kind of a run blitz or anything like that. They were expecting a pass, And what happens? It was just a bad call. It was a bad defensive call. I'm pretty much convinced of that. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think Patterson had one of his better nights coordinating the defense, and it was pretty displeasing.
Let's look over on the other side. I know Jet threw 2 interceptions, but he had some pretty electrifying runs. He did throw some nice passes. I thought R.J. Turner and EZ both had pretty good games at receiver. I tell you what, man, Keyshawn Carter, they moved him inside really because they had a necessity, because they just had Mannix because Brigden was still in the concussion protocol. Of course, Xavier White has been out for most of the season, so it's hard to believe, but they were down to 1 inside receiver at Texas Tech University. The place that produces inside receivers about as much as anybody. Yeah. But that's where they found themselves. And Keyshawn Carter played well, Joe.
Yeah, he had his best game, certainly of the season anyway.
Yeah.
And, you saw his speed in evidence tonight and acceleration.
And the kickoff return, too.
And the kickoff return. And so, maybe this is sort of a coming out party for him. And, you got to look at getting him the ball a little bit more. Maybe he's more suited to going back inside. I mean, that's where he was before the season, and they moved him outside, remember? And now they moved him back in. And so
that's where he should be.
Yeah, I think so. He looks better there, and I'm sure he'll be there for Texas. So that was one positive development. Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, now, Texas Tech, they're not going to get to 6 wins, obviously, in the regular season. I guess there is still some way that a 5-win Texas Tech could get to a bowl game. Kirby Hocutt has said that he's not interested in that. I don't know what the APR scores and how they all figure that out and where Tech is situated, but I think this pretty much does it. Tech's not going to a bowl game, but they do get a shot at Texas and Austin, which, look, that always has meaning. The Red Raiders can beat a Texas team that, let's face it, is struggling mightily. They're just barely better in the record than Texas Tech at this point. So, 11 o'clock, Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving, Texas Tech finishes the season in Austin against Texas. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. But Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.